When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? Many people over 50 start their day with a comforting habit: a glass of sweet iced coffee, a chilled fruit juice, or even a colorful energy drink they believe will boost their energy. These habits seem harmless, even beneficial, but what if I told you that one of these morning rituals could quietly triple your risk of having a stroke? For seniors, especially those beyond 60, the morning hours are the most vulnerable time for the brain and heart. After a long night of sleep, 6, 7, or 8 hours, your body is in a state of mild dehydration. Every breath you take at night, every drop of sweat, every natural function while you sleep slowly drains water from your body. By the time you open your eyes, your blood is thicker, your blood vessels are narrower, and your heart has to work harder to pump blood to your brain and organs. Now imagine what happens when, instead of rehydrating with pure water, you pour in a drink loaded with sugar, caffeine, artificial flavors, or chemical sweeteners. It's like throwing fuel on a fire. Your blood pressure surges, your blood vessels constrict even further, and a chain reaction begins that can silently damage your brain. You might not feel a thing at first. No headache, no dizziness, no warning sign. But deep inside, your blood flow may be compromised, and a small clot could form and block oxygen to your brain. This is why studies from the American Heart Association and the National Institutes of Health have found that up to 60% of strokes in older adults happen in the early morning hours. It's not always due to genetics or long-term illness. It's often caused by small daily habits that nobody questions. I want to share a story that perfectly illustrates this danger. Mr. Nam, 66 years old from Hanoi, used to start every day with a can of sweet orange-flavored energy drink. He thought it was better than coffee, giving him a quick boost of alertness. He kept this habit for years, never suspecting any danger. One morning, while brushing his teeth, he suddenly felt weak and collapsed. He had an ischemic stroke. The shocking part: he had no history of high blood pressure, no warning signs, no major health issues. But when doctors checked his records, they found that every morning his heart rhythm spiked, and his blood pressure shot up within 30 minutes of waking, all triggered by that sugary, caffeinated drink. His story is not unique. Many seniors are unknowingly putting themselves at risk with what they drink first thing in the morning. We often think the danger comes from big things like genetics or chronic disease, but the truth is these small, innocent choices can be far more dangerous. So why are these drinks so harmful? Let's break it down. Sweet iced coffee, which many Vietnamese love, is a prime example. Caffeine can speed up your heart rate and tighten your blood vessels, while sugar causes a sudden spike in blood glucose. Combined, they create a storm in your bloodstream. Your heart beats faster, your blood gets thicker, and your vessels become tighter. It's a recipe for disaster if you're over 60 and already dealing with slower circulation. Packaged fruit juice is another hidden culprit. People often think juice is healthy, but the lack of fiber and the high concentration of sugar mean it hits your blood faster and harder than eating a whole fruit. Studies from Harvard have shown that apple juice has almost twice the glycemic index of a whole apple. For seniors with diabetes or pre-diabetes, this is a serious trap. Then we have diet sodas and sugar-free drinks, which are widely misunderstood. Just because they have no sugar doesn't mean they're safe. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose can still disrupt your metabolism, mess with your gut bacteria, and trigger insulin responses. In fact, a study from the American Stroke Association found that seniors who drink diet soda daily are almost twice as likely to suffer a stroke compared to those who don't. These drinks also dehydrate your body, tricking you into thinking you're not thirsty, which only thickens your blood further. And let's not forget energy drinks and sports beverages. These are marketed as performance boosters, but they're designed for young athletes, not for seniors. They're packed with stimulants like guarana and taurine, plus high doses of caffeine and sugar. For someone over 60, these ingredients can send blood pressure through the roof and create dangerous irregularities in heart rhythm. Research from the Mayo Clinic has shown that seniors who consume energy drinks are 3 times more likely to develop heart arrhythmias compared to younger people. What's even more dangerous is skipping water altogether in the morning. If you get out of bed and go straight to coffee or juice, you're missing the single most important step to protect your brain: rehydrating. After a night's sleep, your blood is thicker and moves slower. Drinking a glass of plain water immediately after waking helps thin the blood, improve circulation, and reduces the risk of clot formation. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has confirmed that even mild morning dehydration significantly increases stroke risk. I remember another case, a 68-year-old woman who came to the hospital after fainting in her kitchen. She wasn't hypertensive, diabetic, or overweight. But every morning, she skipped water and went straight for cold juice, even while taking her diuretic medication. That day, her blood pressure suddenly dropped, her blood thickened, and she experienced a mild stroke. Her case proves how dangerous these small morning mistakes can be. As we get older, our bodies become less forgiving. What we could handle at 30 or 40 can become life-threatening at 60. That's why I want to help you recognize these risks and show you better alternatives. A simple glass of water, a mindful swap of your favorite morning drink, and awareness of early warning signs can make a life-saving difference. If you've ever felt a bit dizzy, noticed your arm feeling heavy, or found that your speech is slightly slurred in the morning, don't ignore it. These could be early signs of a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke, that often happens before a major stroke. By paying attention to these signals, you can act before it's too late. So as we begin this journey together, I want you to ask yourself, what's really in your morning glass? Could that small, sweet habit be silently harming your brain and heart? In the next sections, we'll uncover the most dangerous drinks for seniors, explore why they're risky, and learn how simple changes in your morning routine can protect you from the devastating effects of a stroke. Stay with me. This knowledge could save your life or someone you love. Have you ever noticed how your body feels the moment you wake up? For many people over 60, mornings begin with a set of familiar routines: brewing a cup of strong coffee, pouring a glass of packaged juice, or even reaching for a cold energy drink from the fridge. These habits seem harmless, even comforting, but what most seniors don't realize is that one simple morning action can silently triple their risk of having a stroke. This danger doesn't come from genetics or a lifelong condition. It comes from the small choices we make every day, often without thinking. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, our body is naturally dehydrated. We lose water through breathing, sweating, and natural metabolic functions during the night. When we wake up, our blood is thicker and slower moving, our blood vessels are slightly constricted, and our heart is already working harder to circulate oxygen throughout the body. Now imagine what happens if the first thing you drink is not pure water but something loaded with sugar, caffeine, or artificial additives. This combination acts like a spark to a pile of dry wood. It creates a sudden surge of blood pressure, tightens your arteries, and increases the risk of forming a blood clot. And when a clot travels to the brain, the result can be devastating: an ischemic stroke that changes your life forever. Let me share a real story to illustrate this hidden risk. Mr. Min, a retired teacher from Da Nang, had a routine that never changed. Every morning, he started his day with a tall glass of iced milk coffee. It gave him energy and focus, or so he thought. For years, he believed this was a healthy habit. After all, coffee is natural, right? But one morning, while getting ready to go for a walk, he suddenly felt a heavy numbness in his left arm and his vision became blurred. His wife rushed him to the hospital, where doctors confirmed he had suffered a transient ischemic attack, often called a mini-stroke. Though he recovered, it was a clear warning that something in his routine was harming him. After reviewing his habits, we discovered that skipping morning water and immediately drinking sweetened coffee was a key factor in triggering his condition. This is not just an isolated case. According to the American Heart Association, up to 60% of strokes in older adults occur in the morning. One study funded by the National Institutes of Health found that drinking sugary or caffeinated beverages within the first hour of waking significantly increases the risk of clot formation. The reason is simple. When your body is already dehydrated, adding stimulants and sugar makes your blood thicker and your circulation less efficient, creating the perfect storm for a stroke. What's alarming is that most people think these drinks are safe or even healthy. Packaged fruit juices, for example, are marketed as natural or vitamin-rich, but they're often stripped of fiber and loaded with sugar. Energy drinks are promoted as performance boosters, but they contain high doses of caffeine and stimulants designed for young athletes, not for a 60-year-old body with slower metabolism and weaker vessels. Even diet sodas, which claim to have no sugar, are dangerous because artificial sweeteners can disrupt metabolism, affect gut bacteria, and still trigger insulin responses. These are silent threats that work behind the scenes. Think about how many years you've started your day this way. Each morning, you're asking your heart to pump harder and your vessels to constrict more, all before your body has had a chance to wake up gently. Over time, this constant stress damages the delicate lining of your arteries, increases inflammation, and weakens your body's natural defenses. The result? A sudden, life-changing event that could have been avoided with a simple glass of water. Water may seem boring compared to coffee or juice, but it is the single most powerful and immediate protector of your brain and heart in the morning. When you drink a glass of room temperature water as soon as you wake up, you help thin your blood, improve circulation, and restore balance to your cardiovascular system. This is especially important for people over 60, whose blood vessels are less flexible and more prone to damage. Just 1 or 2 glasses of water in the first 30 minutes of your day can dramatically reduce your risk of clot formation and improve brain oxygenation. I remember another patient, Mrs. HOA, 68, who always complained of dizziness in the morning. She believed it was just part of aging. But when we examined her daily routine, we found she never drank water upon waking. She went straight to her cold glass of orange juice and blood pressure medication. Her dizziness was a warning sign that her body was struggling with dehydration and sudden sugar spikes. Once she switched her routine to drinking plain water first and having a light, low-sugar breakfast afterward, her symptoms improved within weeks. Stroke prevention is not only about controlling cholesterol or avoiding fatty foods, it's about the small habits that either strengthen or weaken your body every day. As a doctor who has worked with seniors for decades, I can tell you that most strokes are preventable if we pay attention to these subtle but powerful factors. The drink you choose first thing in the morning can either protect your brain or put it at risk. This video will guide you through the most dangerous morning drinks for seniors, why they're harmful, and what you can do instead. We'll also discuss early warning signs of stroke that are often overlooked, and how simple habits, like morning hydration, can save your life. I want you to approach this with an open mind. It's not about giving up what you love, but learning how to make smarter, safer choices that give you energy and protect your heart. By the end of this series, you will understand exactly why mornings are the critical window for stroke prevention, which drinks to avoid, and how to replace them with healthy alternatives. You'll also discover how to recognize early signs of trouble before it's too late. If you've ever felt weak, dizzy, or unusually tired in the morning, this information will help you understand why and how to fix it. Your health, energy, and independence are worth protecting. I want you to imagine waking up every day with a clear mind, steady balance, and confidence that you're making choices that strengthen you rather than harm you. It all starts with one simple question: what's in your glass each morning? Let's explore this together and uncover the hidden dangers and the life-saving alternatives you need to know. When you wake up after a long night's sleep, your body is in a unique state. It's been hours since you last drank any fluid, and throughout the night, you've been quietly losing water through breathing, sweat, and natural processes. This mild dehydration might not feel obvious. You might not be thirsty, but your body is already under subtle stress. Your blood has become slightly thicker, your circulation slower, and your blood vessels tighter. For a younger person, this might not be a big problem, but for someone over 60, this condition can become a silent danger, increasing the risk of a stroke in those crucial first hours of the day. Dehydration reduces the total volume of blood circulating in your system. When blood volume drops, your heart must work harder to pump what's left through your body, particularly to vital organs like the brain. If your vessels are already narrower due to age-related changes or plaque buildup, this added strain can create turbulence in your circulation. It's like trying to push a thick liquid through a narrow tube. The effort required is higher, and the risk of blockage is greater. This is why strokes are so common in the early morning hours. The body is simply more vulnerable. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that mild morning dehydration can reduce oxygen flow to the brain by up to 10%. While 10% might not sound like much, it's enough to cause brain fog, dizziness, or even trigger small clot formations in susceptible individuals. For seniors who may already have issues with circulation, this is a ticking time bomb. Add a wrong drink like sweetened coffee or energy beverages on top of this state, and you magnify the problem. Caffeine causes further constriction of blood vessels, while sugar spikes insulin levels and blood pressure. This combination, on top of dehydration, creates what doctors sometimes call the morning storm inside your blood vessels. I once treated a 70-year-old man, Mr. Than, who woke up every day feeling heavy and lightheaded. He thought it was just normal aging, but when I asked him about his morning routine, I learned he never drank water after waking. He went straight to his strong, sweet coffee. His body, already dehydrated, had to process a drink that raised his blood pressure and heart rate before he even started moving. After encouraging him to drink a glass of warm water before his coffee, his dizziness improved dramatically within just a week. In Vietnam, where the mornings are often hot and humid, seniors underestimate how much water their body needs. Even while sleeping, our body loses a surprising amount of moisture, and without replenishing it, we wake up with thicker blood and slower circulation. This is why I always recommend starting the day with at least 250 milliliters, 1 glass, of room temperature water. Cold water might be refreshing but can cause sudden vessel tightening, which is not ideal for seniors with sensitive cardiovascular systems. There is another hidden danger of morning dehydration: its impact on blood clotting. Our blood contains platelets that help us form clots when needed. When we are dehydrated, these platelets are more likely to stick together, increasing the risk of forming clots that can block brain or heart arteries. In fact, the National Institutes of Health have reported that dehydration is one of the most under-recognized factors contributing to early morning strokes. A woman named Mrs. Lin, 63, experienced a mild stroke that left her with weakness in her left hand. When I reviewed her habits, I found she never drank water in the morning because she feared it would upset her stomach. Instead, she would have cold juice or milk tea. Over time, this habit increased her blood viscosity every morning and left her more vulnerable to clot formation. After switching to a simple habit, 1 glass of warm water upon waking, she felt more alert, her blood pressure stabilized, and her risk markers improved within months. If you often feel dizzy, fatigued, or even slightly confused within an hour of waking up, dehydration may be the cause. Your brain is incredibly sensitive to water balance. Even a small decrease of 1 to 2% in body water can affect memory, focus, and balance, which is why seniors sometimes feel clumsy or forgetful in the morning. But the solution is so simple and inexpensive. Drink water first, before any coffee, tea, or other beverage. Hydration isn't just about stroke prevention. It improves digestion, keeps your skin healthier, helps your kidneys function properly, and supports a steady heart rhythm. For those with diabetes or high blood pressure, morning water intake is especially crucial because it helps flush out excess sodium and stabilize glucose levels. So, before you pick up that cup of coffee or juice, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, have I given my body the water it needs to wake up safely? One small change, 1 glass of pure water, can make a world of difference in how your day begins and how your brain and heart are protected. If you start building this habit today, you'll not only feel better but also significantly reduce your risk of a stroke in the future. Stories often teach us more than numbers, and Joseph's experience is a powerful reminder of how a simple habit can have life-changing consequences. Joseph, 67, from Ohio, believed he had found the perfect way to start his mornings. He never liked coffee, so for the past 5 years, he replaced it with a can of orange-flavored energy drink every single day. He thought it was safer than caffeine-heavy coffee and gave him a refreshing, quick boost without bitterness. 4 years, nothing seemed wrong. He felt alert, ready to go, and even recommended this drink to his friends. But one seemingly ordinary morning, while brushing his teeth, Joseph suddenly collapsed. He hadn't experienced headaches or high blood pressure before, so his family was shocked when doctors diagnosed him with an ischemic stroke. What caused it? His medical history was clean. No chronic illnesses, no family history of strokes. But the doctors noticed a pattern after running tests. Every morning, within 30 minutes of waking, his heart rate and blood pressure would spike drastically. It turned out that the energy drink he believed was harmless was quietly overstimulating his cardiovascular system. Packed with sugar, stimulants like guarana, and synthetic chemicals, the drink created a surge of adrenaline every morning, forcing his heart to work harder and pushing his already dehydrated blood vessels to the edge. Energy drinks are particularly dangerous for seniors because they are designed for younger bodies with faster metabolism. High levels of caffeine in combination with sugar cause blood vessels to constrict sharply, increasing the pressure inside them. This becomes even riskier when you consider the state of the body in the morning: thicker blood, tighter vessels, and a naturally higher clotting tendency. For someone over 60, this creates the perfect storm for a stroke. A report from the American Heart Association supports Joseph's story, showing that nearly 60% of strokes in people over 60 occur within the first few hours after waking up. One contributing factor is the type of drink consumed upon waking. Energy drinks, even those marketed as low sugar or natural, often contain ingredients that overstimulate the nervous system. Guarana, for example, is a stimulant that magnifies the effects of caffeine. Taurine, another common ingredient, affects heart rhythm. Combined with sugar, these ingredients spike blood glucose and blood pressure, creating a dangerous chain reaction. In Joseph's case, the damage was silent and cumulative. For years, his morning routine increased inflammation and strained his cardiovascular system. It wasn't until that one morning, when his body could no longer handle the stress, that everything came crashing down. He spent weeks in rehabilitation, struggling to regain mobility in his left side. Looking back, Joseph says he wishes someone had warned him that his energy drink habit was not a harmless choice but a ticking time bomb. I see many similar cases, even here in Vietnam. Some seniors have switched from coffee to canned energy drinks, thinking they are healthier, especially if they are marketed as containing vitamins or electrolytes. But these drinks are designed to provide a fast jolt of energy, not to nourish the body. For seniors, who already have reduced kidney and liver efficiency, these chemicals and high caffeine levels are harder to process, adding stress to their entire cardiovascular system. The lesson from Joseph's story is clear. The first drink you choose in the morning is powerful enough to affect your entire day, and sometimes your entire future. If it's a drink that spikes your blood pressure and tightens your vessels, you're increasing your risk of stroke without even knowing it. On the other hand, a simple switch to water or a gentle, natural beverage can have protective effects on your brain and heart. Doctors worldwide now recommend that older adults avoid starting their day with highly caffeinated or sugary drinks. Instead, rehydrating with water and eating a small, balanced breakfast can set the tone for stable blood pressure and better circulation. It's not about completely avoiding coffee or tea, it's about timing and moderation. Have your coffee later, after your body has rehydrated and stabilized. Joseph's recovery was slow but insightful. He now begins every morning with a glass of water, followed by light stretching and a small bowl of oatmeal. He has completely cut out energy drinks, and his blood pressure has normalized. His story is a wake-up call for anyone who still believes that a boost in the morning is harmless. The truth is, after 60, your body needs support and gentleness, not stimulation and spikes. In the next part, we'll examine the scientific studies that explain why sugar and caffeine, especially when consumed first thing in the morning, can triple the risk of stroke. These studies are not just statistics, they provide a clear explanation of how our blood vessels react and why seniors must be extra cautious with their first morning drink. The relationship between sugar, caffeine, and stroke risk has been studied extensively, and the findings are particularly alarming for older adults. The National Institutes of Health, NIH, and the American Heart Association have conducted multiple studies showing that the combination of high sugar intake and caffeine, especially during the first hour of waking, can significantly increase the risk of clot formation in the brain. This risk is highest in people over 60 due to the natural changes in blood vessels, circulation, and heart function that come with age. After sleeping, the body's hydration levels are at their lowest, and blood tends to be more viscous. When we consume drinks high in caffeine and sugar, the body responds with a surge of adrenaline and stress hormones. Caffeine alone constricts blood vessels, which raises blood pressure. When combined with sugar, the blood glucose spike forces the pancreas to release a large dose of insulin. This sudden fluctuation in glucose and blood pressure creates a biological storm, straining both the heart and brain. For seniors, whose vessels may already be narrowed due to years of natural aging or mild plaque buildup, this chain reaction is especially dangerous. One study published in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases revealed that older adults who consumed sweetened caffeinated beverages on an empty stomach were nearly 2.8 times more likely to experience morning dizziness, fainting episodes, or unstable blood pressure compared to those who started their day with water or unsweetened drinks. These effects are often invisible until they cause a serious event. You may feel fine, maybe just a bit jittery or warm, but internally, your blood vessels are tightening, your heart is working harder, and the risk of a clot forming is increasing. Let's take a closer look at why sugar is such a problem. Refined sugar, especially when consumed without any food, is rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream. This causes a quick spike in blood glucose, which triggers the release of insulin to bring levels back down. In seniors, this sudden roller coaster effect can stress the vascular system, cause inflammation, and make blood platelets more likely to clump together. It's like adding sticky syrup to already thick liquid. The flow slows, and the risk of blockage rises. When combined with caffeine, the risk is magnified because caffeine not only narrows blood vessels but also stimulates the release of cortisol, a stress hormone that can temporarily raise blood pressure and heart rate. To illustrate this, consider Ms. And, a 64-year-old retired accountant from Ho Chi Minh City. She loved starting her mornings with a sweet milk coffee and a small pastry. She never thought this simple pleasure could harm her health. After a minor stroke last year, she was shocked to learn that her morning combination of sugar and caffeine was one of the main triggers for her blood pressure spikes. Once she switched to drinking water first and reduced her coffee sweetness, her blood pressure stabilized and her energy levels improved. Studies also highlight that seniors who frequently consume sugary, caffeinated drinks are at higher risk of insulin resistance and prediabetes, both of which are closely linked to cardiovascular issues. This isn't about avoiding coffee altogether. Coffee in moderation has its benefits, such as antioxidants, but the key is how and when you drink it. Having coffee on an empty stomach, without first hydrating, is like putting a heavy load on an engine that hasn't been warmed up. Your body needs a gentle start, not a sudden jolt. A better approach is to drink a glass of water first to rehydrate, then have a light breakfast or a small snack, and only then enjoy a cup of coffee, preferably unsweetened or lightly sweetened with a natural option like stevia or a splash of milk. For those who love sweetened coffee, consider reducing the sugar gradually. You'll be surprised how quickly your taste buds adjust, and your blood vessels will thank you. The NIH's findings also emphasize the importance of monitoring early symptoms after consuming such drinks. If you experience a racing heart, sudden dizziness, or even mild chest discomfort after your morning coffee or energy drink, these are red flags. Your body is signaling that the combination of dehydration, sugar, and caffeine is overwhelming your cardiovascular system. Midway through these studies, researchers pointed out something important. Seniors who simply swapped their morning sugary drink for water, herbal tea, or black coffee with no added sugar saw a significant reduction in blood pressure fluctuations and improved overall energy. This small change alone lowered their stroke risk by nearly 30% over time. It's a simple yet powerful shift that anyone can make. In the next section, we'll look closely at one of the most common morning drinks, sweet iced coffee, and why it's particularly harmful for people over 60. We'll also explore smart alternatives that still let you enjoy coffee without putting your brain and heart at risk. Sweet iced coffee is a beloved drink in many cultures, especially here in Vietnam, where a glass of Sia Pasare Withacute in the morning feels like a daily ritual. For decades, people have believed that coffee boosts focus, lifts energy, and prepares the body for the day ahead. While coffee itself, when consumed in moderation, can offer benefits like antioxidants and improved mental alertness, sweet iced coffee poses a hidden threat for people over 60. The combination of caffeine, sugar, and sometimes condensed milk or creamers creates a dangerous cocktail that silently harms the blood vessels and increases the risk of stroke. When you drink sweet iced coffee first thing in the morning, your body is already in a vulnerable state. Overnight, dehydration causes your blood to thicken slightly. Introducing caffeine at this moment triggers the release of adrenaline, which speeds up the heart rate and constricts blood vessels. This would not be a major issue for a young, healthy body. But for seniors, whose arteries may already be less flexible due to age-related changes or mild plaque buildup, this extra tightening is like squeezing a garden hose when water is already under pressure. The flow slows, turbulence increases, and the chance of a clot forming becomes much higher. The sugar in sweet iced coffee makes matters worse. Refined sugar is absorbed quickly into the bloodstream, causing a rapid spike in blood glucose. This spike forces the body to produce a large surge of insulin, creating stress on blood vessel walls. Over time, this cycle weakens the endothelial lining of the arteries, making them more prone to damage and narrowing. A clinical analysis from the Hypertension Optimal Treatment Study found that older adults who consume sweetened coffee each morning were almost 2.8 times more likely to experience dizziness, fainting episodes, or unstable blood pressure compared to those who started their day with unsweetened drinks or water. Consider the case of Mr. Tuan, a 62-year-old retiree from Da Nang, who loved his morning iced milk coffee. He believed it was harmless because he had no history of high blood pressure. Over the years, he began to notice moments of lightheadedness when standing up or bending down. One morning, after skipping breakfast but having his usual coffee, he suddenly felt weakness in his right arm. A hospital visit revealed he had experienced a minor stroke. When we examined his habits, it became clear that his combination of morning dehydration and sugary caffeine was putting intense strain on his cardiovascular system every day. Condensed milk, which is commonly added to Vietnamese coffee, also brings another hidden danger: saturated fat and sodium. These components, combined with sugar, can increase inflammation and contribute to higher cholesterol levels over time, both of which are risk factors for stroke. Additionally, many coffee shops use flavored syrups and creamers that contain artificial additives and hidden sodium, adding even more stress on the kidneys and circulation. So, what can seniors do if they love coffee? The answer is not to give it up entirely, but to upgrade how and when it's consumed. Start your day with a glass of room temperature water first to rehydrate and improve circulation. Wait at least 20 minutes before having coffee. When you prepare coffee, choose a lighter option like black coffee or cold brew made at home. Avoid adding large amounts of condensed milk or flavored syrups. Instead, use unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or just a splash of regular milk. If you need sweetness, try a small amount of natural sweetener like stevia. These simple changes reduce the burden on your blood vessels and still allow you to enjoy the energy boost of coffee. Another tip is to have coffee alongside a small breakfast rather than on an empty stomach. When you consume sugar and caffeine with food, the absorption rate slows down, minimizing the sudden spikes in blood glucose and blood pressure. A light meal with whole grains of fruit can balance out the effects of caffeine and prevent the roller coaster of energy crashes that often follow sweet iced coffee. It's also worth mentioning that the temperature of the drink matters. While iced coffee feels refreshing, extremely cold beverages can cause sudden tightening of blood vessels, which is not ideal for someone already at risk of stroke. Room temperature or slightly warm drinks are safer for seniors because they don't shock the circulatory system. Sweet iced coffee might seem like a small pleasure, but for people over 60, it can be a silent enemy. The daily stress it puts on your heart and blood vessels accumulates over time, making a stroke more likely. The key is awareness and moderation. Switching to a healthier version of coffee doesn't mean giving up what you love. It means choosing a version that protects your health instead of harming it. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into how sugar and creamers specifically damage the heart and brain over time, and why cutting back on these additives can dramatically lower your risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Sugar may taste sweet, but its effects on the body, especially for people over 60, can be bitter and dangerous. When consumed regularly in drinks like sweet iced coffee or tea, sugar triggers a series of harmful reactions in the cardiovascular system. The first and most immediate effect is the spike in blood glucose levels. This spike causes the pancreas to release a surge of insulin, which in turn leads to rapid changes in blood pressure and heart rate. Over time, these daily glucose spikes damage the lining of blood vessels, making them stiffer and more prone to inflammation. For seniors, whose arteries are already less elastic due to natural aging, this additional stress can increase the likelihood of blood clots and heart disease. Creamers, especially the flavored or non-dairy types, are not as innocent as they appear. Many contain hydrogenated oils or trans fats, ingredients that are known to increase LDL, bad cholesterol, and lower HDL, good cholesterol. This imbalance encourages plaque buildup in the arteries, which can restrict blood flow and raise the risk of stroke or heart attack. Condensed milk, a staple in many Vietnamese coffee drinks, is not only high in sugar but also packed with saturated fats and sodium. These components contribute to inflammation, water retention, and higher blood pressure. 3 critical factors that make mornings particularly risky for seniors. A study from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that seniors who consumed more than 2 sugary drinks daily had a 31% higher risk of developing heart disease compared to those who limited their intake to less than 1 per week. The hidden danger is that these risks accumulate silently. You might feel fine for years, but each morning drink filled with sugar and creamers is like adding another drop of stress to an already full cup. One day, it overflows in the form of a stroke or a heart episode. Let me share an example. Mrs. Hung, a 65-year-old from Hanoi, believed she was eating and drinking healthily. She avoided fried foods and exercised moderately, but she loved her morning cup of coffee with 2 tablespoons of condensed milk and a splash of artificial creamer. After suffering a mild heart attack, she was shocked to learn that her daily coffee habit had contributed to her condition. When we analyzed her diet, we found that her morning coffee alone contained nearly 20 grams of sugar and unhealthy fats, a dangerous start for someone with naturally aging blood vessels. The key problem with sugar is how it affects blood viscosity. High sugar intake makes blood platelets stickier, increasing the risk of clot formation. This is especially concerning in the morning when dehydration has already thickened the blood. Combined with creamers that may contain hidden chemicals and sodium, this creates a dangerous situation for the brain and heart. So how do you enjoy coffee or tea without the harmful effects? The first step is to reduce or eliminate added sugar gradually. Many seniors find that after a few weeks of drinking less sweet coffee, their taste buds adjust and they no longer crave that intense sweetness. You can add natural sweetness from cinnamon or a drop of pure vanilla extract. As for creamers, avoid flavored commercial products that contain hydrogenated oils. Instead, opt for a splash of regular milk, unsweetened almond milk, or oat milk. These are lighter on the arteries and free of trans fats. Another important strategy is to pair your morning drink with food that stabilizes blood sugar levels. Whole grain toast, oatmeal, or even a small piece of fruit provides fiber that slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, reducing the risk of sudden glucose spikes. If you enjoy a sweeter taste, try adding a teaspoon of honey or coconut sugar instead of refined white sugar. These natural options are still sugar but have a slightly lower glycemic impact and contain trace minerals that are less damaging to blood vessels. Hydration plays a crucial role here too. Drinking a glass of water before your coffee or tea helps dilute the sugar's impact and supports smoother circulation. When your blood is well hydrated, it's less likely to form dangerous clots, even when exposed to small amounts of sugar or caffeine. Artificial creamers also pose risks because many contain additives like carrageenan or chemical emulsifiers, which can irritate the gut lining and contribute to inflammation throughout the body. Chronic inflammation is one of the underlying factors that accelerates aging in blood vessels and increases stroke risk. Seniors should always read labels and avoid products with long lists of unrecognizable ingredients. One of my patients, Mr. Bao, 68, replaced his condensed milk coffee with a homemade cold brew mixed with unsweetened almond milk and just a touch of honey. Within 2 months, he noticed improved energy, fewer headaches, and lower blood pressure readings. This small adjustment reduced his daily sugar intake by over 15 grams and removed the unhealthy fats from commercial creamers. The takeaway is simple. Your coffee or tea can still be enjoyable and satisfying, but the sugar and creamers that go into it can quietly sabotage your health. By reducing these additives and focusing on natural, lighter alternatives, you can protect your arteries, maintain better blood flow, and enjoy your mornings without the hidden risks. In the next section, we'll explore another so-called healthy choice that can harm seniors: packaged fruit juice. While it's marketed as full of vitamins, it can be just as dangerous as sugary coffee when consumed first thing in the morning. Packaged fruit juice is often marketed as a healthy choice, filled with vitamins and nutrients, but for people over 60, this belief can be dangerously misleading. Unlike whole fruits, which contain natural fiber to slow sugar absorption, packaged juice, especially the kind found in bottles, cartons, or cans, is often stripped of fiber and loaded with concentrated sugars. Even if the label says 100% fruit juice, the natural fruit sugars inside are highly concentrated and can send your blood sugar soaring, particularly when consumed on an empty stomach. For seniors, whose bodies may process glucose more slowly and whose blood vessels are already less flexible, this spike can increase the risk of high blood pressure, insulin resistance, and even stroke. The issue isn't just the natural sugars. Many commercially packaged juices are blended with added sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives to enhance taste and shelf life. A glass of store-bought orange juice can contain as much sugar as a can of soda, sometimes up to 25 grams per serving. This sugar enters the bloodstream quickly, causing an immediate spike in blood glucose levels. For seniors with diabetes, prediabetes, or metabolic syndrome, this rapid surge can be particularly dangerous, leading to blood vessel stress and inflammation. Consider the findings from a Harvard study on glycemic index and fruit consumption. It revealed that the glycemic index of apple juice can be nearly twice as high as that of eating a whole apple. The reason is simple. When you eat a whole fruit, the fiber in the skin and pulp slows down sugar absorption, preventing sudden spikes. In contrast, packaged juice delivers a rapid, concentrated dose of sugar that overwhelms the system. For someone over 60, who might already have weakened arteries or slower circulation, this is like pouring gasoline on a small fire. I recall the case of Mr. Fuck, 63, who believed he was making a healthy choice by starting every morning with a glass of store-bought mango juice. He skipped breakfast because he thought juice was enough to provide energy. Over time, he began experiencing frequent morning dizziness and lightheadedness. A blood test showed that his fasting blood sugar levels were higher than normal, and his blood pressure fluctuated unpredictably. When he stopped drinking packaged juice and switched to eating fresh fruit with water, his symptoms improved within weeks, and his energy levels stabilized. Another hidden risk is how packaged juice affects the protective lining of arteries, known as the endothelium. High sugar intake from juice can cause micro-damage to this lining, reducing its ability to regulate blood flow and prevent clots. This is particularly concerning in the early morning, when dehydration already makes blood thicker. For seniors, this combination, dehydration plus a high-sugar drink, can triple the risk of clot formation during the first 2 hours after waking. Does this mean you should never drink juice? Not necessarily. The key is to choose the right kind and consume it in the right way. Freshly squeezed juice made at home, especially when blended with the pulp, is far better than packaged versions because it retains fiber and has fewer additives. Even better is blending whole fruits into a smoothie with water or milk alternatives. This way, you benefit from all the vitamins and minerals of the fruit while avoiding the sudden sugar spike. For example, blending an apple with its skin and a handful of spinach creates a nutritious, fiber-rich drink that releases sugar gradually and supports brain and heart health. For those who still enjoy juice, moderation is crucial. A small glass, about 100 milliliters, is sufficient, and it's best consumed alongside a small meal rather than on an empty stomach. Adding chia seeds or ground flax seeds to a smoothie can also increase fiber content and slow down sugar absorption. Packaged juices also often contain hidden sodium, which many people overlook. While the sodium content might seem small, it can contribute to increased blood pressure, especially when combined with other sources of salt throughout the day. Seniors, who may already be on blood pressure medication, need to be especially cautious about hidden sodium in processed drinks. Another tip is to read labels carefully. Terms like no added sugar can be misleading, as the natural sugar content of concentrated juice is already high. Look for juices that list only one ingredient, 100% fruit juice with no added sweeteners. But even with these, portion control and timing matter. One of my patients, Mrs. Lan, 66, used to drink a tall glass of packaged grape juice every morning because she believed it was good for her heart. After we reviewed her daily sugar intake, we realized that her juice habit alone was giving her nearly 30 grams of sugar each morning, far exceeding healthy limits. She replaced this with a simple habit: a glass of water first, then a small bowl of fresh grapes and a slice of whole grain bread. Within 2 months, she lost weight, felt less fatigued, and her blood pressure readings improved. The bottom line is that while fruit is healthy, packaged juice is not the same as eating whole fruit. For seniors, especially those concerned about stroke or heart health, starting the day with a high-sugar beverage can undo all the benefits of other healthy habits. It's better to eat whole fruit or prepare a homemade smoothie to ensure you're getting fiber, antioxidants, and steady energy without harmful spikes. In the next part, we'll uncover another widely misunderstood drink: diet sodas and artificial sweeteners. Many seniors think these drinks are safe because they contain no sugar, but research shows they can still disrupt metabolism and double the risk of stroke. Many seniors believe that diet sodas or sugar-free drinks are a safer alternative to sugary beverages, but this is a dangerous misconception. While these drinks may not contain real sugar, they are often packed with artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, or saccharine. These chemicals trick your taste buds but also confuse your metabolism. Studies have shown that artificial sweeteners can disrupt the body's ability to regulate blood sugar, alter gut bacteria, and trigger an insulin response, even without actual sugar. For older adults, this means an increased risk of insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular issues, which are all major stroke risk factors. A 2017 study published by the American Stroke Association found that seniors who consumed diet sodas daily had nearly twice the risk of stroke compared to those who avoided them. This shocking statistic is partly due to how artificial sweeteners affect the gut microbiome. The gut is home to trillions of bacteria that play a critical role in digestion, immune function, and even blood sugar regulation. Artificial sweeteners disrupt this delicate balance, leading to inflammation and metabolic changes that can harm blood vessels over time. For someone over 60, whose vascular system may already be vulnerable, these changes can accelerate the aging of arteries and increase the likelihood of clot formation. Diet sodas also pose another hidden danger: dehydration. Many seniors assume that drinking soda counts as hydration, but this is far from the truth. Artificial sweeteners and carbonation can mask thirst cues, making you less likely to drink enough water. This is especially harmful in the morning when your body is already mildly dehydrated from sleep. Drinking a diet soda instead of water only makes your blood thicker and circulation slower, quietly raising your stroke risk. Let's consider the example of Mrs. Thu, a 65-year-old from Haiphong. She switched from sweetened tea to diet soda 5 years ago, believing it was healthier for her weight and blood sugar. But over time, she began to experience digestive problems, persistent fatigue, and higher blood pressure readings. When she came for a checkup, we discovered that her habit of drinking 2 cans of diet soda each morning, without any water, was dehydrating her and contributing to vascular stress. After replacing her morning soda with water and herbal tea, her symptoms improved, and her energy returned within a month. Another problem with diet sodas is that they create a false sense of security. People often think, since this drink has no sugar, I can drink more of it, but the chemicals inside can still harm your health. Aspartame, for instance, breaks down into compounds that some studies have linked to headaches and mood changes. Sucralose has been shown to alter insulin sensitivity in just a few weeks of regular consumption. These effects are particularly harmful to seniors, whose metabolic systems are already more fragile. It's also important to note that the sweet taste of these drinks can make your body crave more sweet foods, leading to unhealthy eating patterns. This is because the brain associates sweetness with calories. When artificial sweeteners provide sweetness without calories, the brain becomes confused, prompting cravings for real sugar later in the day. This cycle often results in overeating or reaching for sugary snacks, which further harms cardiovascular health. So, what can seniors drink instead of diet soda? The best alternative is naturally flavored water. You can infuse plain water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or fresh herbs like mint for a refreshing taste without chemicals. Sparkling water is also fine, as long as it's free of artificial flavors and sweeteners. For those who crave something with a bit of taste in the morning, a homemade herbal tea, such as ginger, chamomile, or green tea, is both soothing and beneficial for circulation. Another excellent choice is coconut water, which provides natural electrolytes and gentle hydration without the artificial additives found in commercial sports drinks. However, it's best to choose pure coconut water with no added sugar. One of my patients, Mr. Hien, 70, made a simple swap that transformed his health. He used to drink a can of diet soda every morning, thinking it would help with weight management. When he switched to warm lemon water, not only did his digestion improve, but his blood pressure also stabilized, and he reported having more steady energy throughout the day. The lesson here is clear: sugar-free does not mean risk-free. Artificial sweeteners and diet sodas can still harm your cardiovascular system, disrupt your metabolism, and increase your stroke risk over time. The key is to hydrate with clean, natural beverages that support your body rather than confuse it. In the next section, we'll uncover why energy drinks, marketed as quick fixes for fatigue, are especially dangerous for people over 60. You'll see how their combination of sugar, stimulants, and artificial additives can triple the risk of heart rhythm problems and stroke. Energy drinks are often marketed with promises of quick alertness, enhanced performance, and improved concentration. These flashy cans, filled with bold colors and claims like instant energy or maximum focus, might look appealing, especially to those who feel fatigued in the morning. However, for people over 60, energy drinks are one of the most dangerous beverages you can choose, especially as your first drink of the day. The combination of high caffeine, excessive sugar, and chemical stimulants creates a triple threat to your heart, brain, and blood vessels. Unlike regular coffee or tea, energy drinks often contain extremely high levels of caffeine, sometimes 2 to 3 times more than a cup of strong coffee. In addition, they are loaded with sugar or artificial sweeteners, plus stimulants like guarana, taurine, and ginseng. These ingredients overstimulate the nervous system and cause your heart to beat faster, your blood pressure to spike, and your vessels to constrict sharply. For a younger, healthy body, this sudden surge of energy might not cause immediate harm. But for seniors, who often have less flexible blood vessels and a slower metabolism, the impact can be devastating. A Mayo Clinic study found that older adults who regularly consume energy drinks are 3 times more likely to develop cardiac arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, compared to those who don't. This is especially dangerous for seniors with pre-existing conditions like high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or heart valve issues. When your heart rhythm becomes unstable, it increases the risk of clots forming in the heart chambers, which can travel to the brain and cause a stroke. Take the story of Mr. Quo, 61, who used to drink energy drinks before heading out for morning exercise. He believed they help him stay energized and alert. One morning, while warming up, he felt a sudden racing heartbeat followed by dizziness and chest discomfort. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with atrial fibrillation, a condition that greatly increases stroke risk. The main culprit? His daily energy drink, which contained over 160 milligrams of caffeine and 25 grams of sugar per serving, combined with stimulants that overstressed his heart. Energy drinks can also cause dehydration, which is already a problem for the body after waking up. Instead of replenishing fluids, they act like diuretics, pushing water out of the body faster. This thickens the blood and makes it harder for the heart to circulate oxygen efficiently. Combined with the morning state of dehydration, this is a recipe for increased clot risk. Even sugar-free energy drinks are not safe. While they may lack sugar, they still contain high caffeine and stimulants, along with artificial sweeteners that disrupt gut bacteria and metabolism. These drinks can leave seniors feeling jittery, anxious, or even nauseated. Over time, daily consumption of such beverages can strain the adrenal glands, leading to fatigue, hormonal imbalances, and increased cardiovascular stress. The sodium content in some energy and sports drinks is another hidden danger. Sodium can contribute to water retention, high blood pressure, and kidney strain. Seniors with chronic kidney disease or those on sodium-restricted diets are especially vulnerable to the harmful effects of these beverages. For seniors who feel sluggish in the morning, there are much safer and more natural ways to boost energy. A glass of warm lemon water, for example, gently hydrates the body, improves digestion, and provides a mild vitamin C boost without the harmful spikes in blood pressure or blood sugar. Pairing water with a small handful of nuts or a banana can also provide natural energy through healthy fats, fiber, and potassium. Some people may argue that they need energy drinks to wake up, but what the body actually needs is better hydration, balanced nutrition, and quality sleep. Many seniors who replace energy drinks with a combination of water, a light breakfast, and a simple breathing exercise or short walk find that their natural energy improves within a week. I once worked with Mrs. Mai, 63, who had been drinking energy drinks every morning because she felt too tired to get through her daily activities. When she stopped and replaced them with herbal tea and a morning hydration routine, she was amazed at how much better she felt. Her headaches disappeared, her blood pressure dropped to healthier levels, and her sleep improved significantly. The bottom line is simple. Energy drinks are not designed for the senior body. They are a quick-fix stimulant meant for younger, active individuals, and even then, they carry risks. For those over 60, they can trigger serious heart and brain complications. In the next section, we'll explore how even sports beverages, often seen as healthy, can harm seniors. These drinks, which are marketed as hydration solutions, can contain hidden sugars, sodium, and preservatives that silently strain your kidneys and raise your blood pressure. Sports beverages are often advertised as healthy hydration solutions, designed to replace electrolytes and restore energy after exercise. They come in bright bottles with labels promising recovery, performance boost, and rapid hydration. For young athletes engaging in intense workouts, these drinks may have some benefits. But for seniors, especially those over 60, sports beverages can quietly harm the body, particularly the kidneys and cardiovascular system. One of the main issues with sports drinks is their sodium content. Sodium is added to help replenish electrolytes lost during heavy sweating, but most seniors don't need this level of replenishment. Instead, the excess sodium adds strain to the kidneys, which are already less efficient with age. Over time, this can raise blood pressure and increase the risk of fluid retention, which is dangerous for those with heart conditions. Seniors with chronic kidney disease or hypertension are especially vulnerable to these effects. Another hidden danger is the sugar content. Many sports drinks contain 15 to 30 grams of sugar per serving, nearly as much as a soda. When consumed first thing in the morning, this sugar hits the bloodstream fast, causing a rapid spike in blood glucose and insulin levels. For seniors, who may already have insulin resistance or diabetes, this can lead to unpredictable blood pressure swings and damage to blood vessels. Combined with morning dehydration, this sugar surge thickens the blood, increasing the risk of clots and strokes. Let me share a story. Mr. Sun, 65, believed he was making a healthy choice by drinking a sports beverage every morning after his light stretching routine. He thought it would fuel his body for the day. But after months of this habit, he began to experience swollen ankles, fatigue, and headaches. A routine checkup revealed that his blood pressure had climbed significantly, and his kidney function was declining. His doctor traced these changes to the high sodium and sugar content in his daily sports drink. When he replaced it with plain water and a small bowl of fruit, his health markers improved within just a few weeks. Even the sugar-free versions of sports drinks are not harmless. They often contain artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and colorings that can trigger inflammation and disrupt gut bacteria. For seniors, who tend to have more sensitive digestion and immune systems, these chemicals add unnecessary stress. Moreover, the artificial colors and flavorings used in many sports drinks have been linked to oxidative stress, a condition that accelerates aging in blood vessels and organs. Many people believe that sports drinks are hydrating because they contain electrolytes like potassium and magnesium. While these minerals are important, the problem is the delivery method. A simple glass of water combined with a banana or a handful of nuts provides the same electrolytes naturally, without the harmful sugars, sodium, or chemicals. Seniors who drink sports beverages as a morning boost are essentially giving their body an artificial jolt of sugar and sodium instead of true hydration. The kidneys, in particular, bear the brunt of this stress. As we age, our kidneys lose some of their filtering efficiency. Excess sodium forces them to work harder to balance fluids, which can increase the risk of kidney stones, edema, and even long-term kidney disease. For those who are already on medications for high blood pressure or heart problems, adding sports drinks to the mix can create dangerous interactions and imbalances. One of my patients, Mrs. Dunn, 67, used to drink a popular sports beverage every day, thinking it was better than water. She wasn't very active but believed the drink's electrolyte boost would help her stay strong. Within months, she experienced sudden spikes in blood pressure and mild kidney pain. After we reviewed her daily habits, it became clear that the sodium and additives in her sports drink were overloading her kidneys. When she switched to plain water with a squeeze of lemon and a pinch of Himalayan salt, in small amounts, her symptoms disappeared and her energy improved. For seniors looking to hydrate properly, the best choice is plain, room temperature water. Adding natural electrolytes from foods like bananas, avocados, or coconut water is far safer and more effective than drinking processed sports beverages. Herbal teas, such as chamomile or ginger tea, also provide gentle hydration while supporting circulation and digestion. Sports drinks, like energy drinks, were never designed for the older body. They cater to the needs of young athletes recovering from intense physical activity, not seniors waking up in a state of mild dehydration. Starting the day with these beverages puts unnecessary stress on the kidneys, increases blood pressure, and adds to the risk of stroke and heart complications. In the next section, we'll look at another critical but often overlooked factor: skipping water in the morning. This simple mistake, which many seniors make, can quietly triple the risk of stroke and heart strain. Yet the solution is so simple and effective. One of the most overlooked yet critical habits for seniors is drinking water immediately upon waking. Many people over 60 wake up and go straight for coffee, tea, or even juice without realizing that skipping water is quietly putting their heart and brain at risk. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, the body is naturally dehydrated. This means the blood becomes slightly thicker, circulation slows, and the heart has to work harder to push oxygen to vital organs, especially the brain. For seniors, who already have less flexible blood vessels and reduced kidney efficiency, this morning dehydration can increase stroke risk by up to 3 times. Why is morning hydration so important? When the body is dehydrated, blood volume decreases. This reduction forces the heart to pump with more pressure, and blood flow becomes less smooth. This sluggish circulation can lead to the formation of tiny clots, which, if they travel to the brain, can cause an ischemic stroke. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that even mild dehydration reduces blood flow to the brain and impairs oxygen delivery by 10 to 12%. This may sound small, but for seniors, whose bodies are already vulnerable, this can mean the difference between a normal morning and a medical emergency. Imagine waking up with thickened blood and then pouring in a drink full of caffeine or sugar, like coffee, tea, or juice, without first rehydrating. Instead of easing your heart's workload, you're increasing it. Caffeine tightens blood vessels, and sugar raises blood pressure and insulin levels, creating the perfect storm inside your body. This is why so many strokes occur within the first 2 hours after waking up. It's not just age or family history, it's these seemingly harmless daily habits. Take the story of Mrs. HOA, a 68-year-old from Hanoi. She was not diabetic or hypertensive, and she believed her health was excellent. But one morning, she collapsed in her kitchen while preparing breakfast. The doctors found she had suffered a mild stroke. When we reviewed her routine, the cause became clear. She took a diuretic pill every morning but skipped water, going straight to cold orange juice. Her blood was already thick from dehydration, and the juice caused a rapid spike in blood sugar, which further stressed her blood vessels. A simple glass of water before anything else could have prevented this event. Water is not just for quenching thirst, It plays a crucial role in waking up your body safely. It helps thin the blood, improve circulation, flushes out toxins, and gently activates the digestive system. It also replenishes the fluids your body lost overnight. This is especially important for seniors who may not feel as thirsty due to age-related changes in thirst perception. By the time you feel thirsty, you're already mildly dehydrated. How much water should you drink? For most seniors, 1 glass, 200 to 250 milliliters, of room temperature water immediately after waking is enough to start. You can add a squeeze of lemon for vitamin C and improve digestion, but plain water is perfectly fine. Avoid drinking ice-cold water first thing in the morning, as it can cause sudden constriction of blood vessels, especially if you have cardiovascular issues. Morning hydration also supports brain function. Studies have shown that even slight dehydration can lead to confusion, slower reaction times, and memory lapses, symptoms often mistaken for aging. Drinking water first thing in the morning helps restore mental clarity and improves focus, setting a positive tone for the rest of the day. I often advise my patients to place a glass of water by their bedside each night. This way, it's the first thing they see in the morning, reminding them to drink before reaching for coffee or breakfast. Within a few weeks of adopting this simple habit, many report feeling more alert, less dizzy, and even experiencing improved digestion and energy levels. If you're someone who dislikes the taste of plain water, you can infuse it with natural flavors, like a slice of cucumber, a few mint leaves, or a piece of fresh ginger. These additions not only enhance the flavor but also provide mild anti-inflammatory benefits. Herbal teas, when consumed without added sugar, can also count toward your hydration goals. Skipping water in the morning is one of the easiest mistakes to fix. It costs nothing, takes less than a minute, and yet offers one of the most powerful protections against stroke, especially when combined with avoiding harmful drinks like sugary coffee, juice, or energy beverages. By starting your day with hydration, you give your heart and brain the best chance to function smoothly, reducing stress on your circulation and lowering your risk of life-threatening complications. In the next section, we'll look at a real-life case of a 68-year-old woman who learned this lesson the hard way. Her story reveals how something as simple as neglecting morning water can lead to a sudden health crisis, and how quickly things improved once she changed this habit. Stories often open our eyes in ways that facts alone cannot, and the story of Mrs. Ann, a 68-year-old woman from Hugh, is a powerful example of why morning hydration is non-negotiable. Mrs. Ann was a lively, active grandmother who loved caring for her garden and cooking for her grandchildren. She didn't have any chronic illnesses. Her blood pressure was always normal during checkups, and she considered herself healthier than most people her age. Her mornings followed a familiar routine: wake up, take a diuretic pill prescribed for mild water retention, and immediately pour herself a glass of cold orange juice from the fridge. For years, she believed this was a good way to start the day: vitamin C from juice and medication to keep her body balanced. What she didn't know was that this routine was slowly setting her up for a stroke. One morning, as she was preparing breakfast, she suddenly felt dizzy and weak. She dropped the knife she was holding, and when she tried to call for her husband, her speech came out slurred. Alarmed, her family rushed her to the hospital, where doctors confirmed that she had suffered a mild ischemic stroke. The medical team was puzzled at first because she had no family history of stroke, no high blood pressure, and no significant risk factors. But after talking with her and reviewing her habits, the culprit became clear. Skipping water in the morning combined with cold orange juice and a diuretic pill had created the perfect conditions for a stroke. The diuretic pill she took caused her body to lose even more water during the night. Waking up already dehydrated, she drank a glass of sugary, acidic juice instead of water. The juice caused a spike in her blood sugar, while the lack of water left her blood thick and slow-moving. These combined factors increased her risk of a clot forming and traveling to her brain. The cold temperature of the juice may have also contributed by causing sudden constriction of her blood vessels. Mrs. N's recovery was slow but steady. During her rehabilitation, doctors emphasized the importance of drinking a glass of water first thing every morning. She was surprised at how something so simple could make such a big difference. Within a few weeks of adopting this habit, she reported feeling more energetic, experiencing fewer dizzy spells, and having more stable blood pressure readings. Her family also joined her in starting their mornings with water, realizing that good habits are beneficial for everyone, not just seniors. This case highlights a critical truth. Even if you feel healthy and have no obvious risk factors, your daily habits can silently put you in danger. Strokes don't always give clear warning signs. They can happen suddenly and without pain. That's why prevention is so important, especially for those over 60. Simple actions like drinking water before anything else, avoiding sugary or caffeinated drinks on an empty stomach, and paying attention to early warning signs can drastically reduce the risk. Another lesson from Mrs.'s story is the importance of understanding medication interactions. Diuretics, which are commonly prescribed to seniors, cause the body to lose fluids. If these lost fluids aren't replaced in the morning, dehydration can quickly set in. For seniors on diuretics, starting the day with a glass of water isn't just a good idea, it's essential. It helps the kidneys flush out toxins and stabilizes blood pressure before introducing other substances like caffeine or juice. I often advise my patients to think of their first glass of water as a morning shield for the brain and heart. Just 200 to 250 milliliters of water can make a dramatic difference by restoring hydration, thinning the blood slightly, and improving circulation. It's like giving your body a gentle restart after a night of rest. Some seniors also find it helpful to keep a small thermos of warm water by their bedside, so they can drink it right after waking without even needing to go to the kitchen. Mrs. Now starts every morning with a warm glass of water, followed by a short walk around her garden. She says her mornings feel calmer and her energy lasts longer throughout the day. Her story has inspired many of her neighbors to change their habits too. Sometimes, it takes a personal wake-up call for us to see the risks hidden in our routines. In the next section, we'll discuss the early warning signs of stroke that many seniors mistake for just aging. Recognizing these subtle signals, such as facial drooping, arm weakness, or slurred speech, can save lives, as quick medical action often prevents a minor issue from becoming a major stroke. One of the biggest challenges in stroke prevention is recognizing the early warning signs. Many seniors mistake these symptoms for simple fatigue, stress, or the natural effects of aging. But ignoring these subtle signals can be dangerous, as they often indicate that blood flow to the brain is already being compromised. When identified early, a stroke can often be prevented or its damage minimized. Unfortunately, many people dismiss these signs until it's too late. A common early warning sign is facial drooping. You might notice that one side of your face feels weak or looks slightly different in the mirror, especially when you smile. It may be subtle, but if your mouth tilts to one side or your eyelid seems heavier than usual, it's a signal that something is affecting your brain's nerve control. Another critical sign is arm weakness or numbness, particularly on one side of the body. Imagine trying to pick up a glass of water, but it feels strangely heavy or your grip is weaker than usual. If you raise both arms and one drifts downward, this is a red flag that your brain is not sending proper signals to your muscles. Slurred or unusual speech is another symptom that often gets overlooked. If your words sound mumbled, or if you find yourself struggling to form simple sentences, this can indicate a transient ischemic attack, TIA, often called a mini-stroke. TIAs are short episodes of reduced blood flow to the brain and are often precursors to full strokes. According to the American Stroke Association, about 1/3 of people who experience a TIA will go on to have a major stroke within a year if no action is taken. Other signs include sudden blurred or double vision, unexplained dizziness, or a loss of balance when stepping out of bed. Sometimes these symptoms last only a few minutes and then disappear. This temporary nature tricks many people into thinking it was nothing serious, but in reality, these moments are the brain's warning whispers before a bigger problem occurs. Let me share the story of Mr. Vu, 70, who thought he was just tired one morning when his speech sounded slightly strange and his right hand felt weak. He ignored these symptoms, blaming them on his late dinner the night before. The next day, he suffered a major stroke that left him partially paralyzed. Doctors told him that if he had gone to the hospital when the first symptoms appeared, the damage could have been prevented. His story is a painful reminder that time is everything when it comes to stroke. There's a simple rule you can remember called FAST: face, arms, Speech, time. If you notice facial drooping, arm weakness, or speech difficulties, it's time to call emergency services immediately. Every minute that a clot blocks blood flow to the brain means millions of brain cells are dying. Quick treatment can mean the difference between a full recovery and lifelong disability. Some seniors also experience unusual mental fog, confusion, or trouble understanding simple instructions as an early sign of stroke. If you or someone you love suddenly feels disoriented or has difficulty following a conversation, don't dismiss it as just getting older. It might be your brain's cry for help. To stay safe, I always recommend keeping a simple daily check routine. Smile in the mirror, lift both arms, and say a short sentence like "Today is a beautiful day." If anything feels off, if your smile looks uneven, one arm drops, or your speech sounds slurred, get help immediately. Even if the symptoms go away after a few minutes, it's critical to see a doctor because tears are serious warnings of a future stroke. Preventive habits like morning hydration, avoiding sugary or caffeinated drinks, and maintaining healthy blood pressure levels can greatly reduce the likelihood of experiencing these warning signs. But awareness is key. Teach your family and friends to recognize these symptoms too, because sometimes you might not notice them yourself. In the next section, we'll talk about morning hydration and smart drink swaps, simple changes that can transform your morning routine into a natural shield against stroke, protecting both your heart and brain. The first hour after waking up is like setting the tone for the rest of your day. What you choose to drink during this time can either strengthen your body or put it under unnecessary stress. For seniors, the safest and most powerful habit is to begin with proper hydration. A single glass of water, simple, pure, and room temperature, can do more for your heart, brain, and blood vessels than any so-called energy drink or sugary beverage. Morning hydration helps restore the fluids you've lost overnight, thins the blood, and improves circulation. It also supports kidney function, digestion, and brain clarity, all of which are crucial as we age. Why room temperature water? Cold drinks in the morning can cause sudden vessel constriction, which is risky for seniors with sensitive cardiovascular systems. Warm or room temperature water gently wakes up the body without shocking it. Some people like to add a few drops of lemon juice, which can aid digestion and provide a mild vitamin C boost. Others prefer to infuse their water with cucumber or mint for a refreshing twist. The key is to hydrate with something natural and free of additives. If you are someone who loves coffee, the good news is that you don't have to give it up. The secret is timing and moderation. Drink water first, then wait at least 20 minutes before having coffee. When you do, choose a lighter version: black coffee, unsweetened cold brew, or coffee with a splash of unsweetened almond or oat milk. Reducing sugar gradually allows your taste buds to adjust while dramatically lowering your risk of morning blood pressure spikes. For tea lovers, herbal teas like chamomile, ginger, or green tea are excellent alternatives. They provide gentle antioxidants and support circulation without overwhelming your nervous system. Avoid bottled sweet teas or heavily flavored versions, as they often contain as much sugar as soda. A simple cup of freshly brewed tea, unsweetened, is a soothing and safe choice for mornings. What about juice? Instead of packaged fruit juices, which are stripped of fiber and packed with sugar, try making your own smoothies using whole fruits and vegetables. Blending the entire fruit, skin, pulp, and seeds where appropriate retains the fiber and slows sugar absorption. A smoothie made with apple, spinach, and chia seeds, for example, not only provides vitamins but also delivers stable energy without sugar spikes. For those who enjoy the flavor of citrus, eating a whole orange is far healthier than drinking a glass of processed orange juice. One of my favorite morning swaps is warm lemon water with a pinch of Himalayan salt. This combination provides gentle hydration, a natural source of electrolytes, and a refreshing start without the harmful ingredients found in energy or sports drinks. It's particularly helpful for seniors who experience early morning dizziness, as it replenishes both water and essential minerals that support healthy blood flow. I often share the story of Mr. Hung, 65, who used to start every day with a large sweet iced coffee. After experiencing frequent morning headaches, he switched to drinking a glass of warm water, followed by a lighter coffee with no sugar. Within 2 weeks, his headaches disappeared, and his energy became more stable throughout the day. Simple swaps like these may seem small, but their long-term effects on heart and brain health are enormous. Hydration is also a powerful tool for preventing mental fog. The brain is composed of nearly 75% water, and even slight dehydration can impair memory and focus. Seniors who start their day with water instead of sugar or caffeine often notice improved mental clarity and fewer episodes of fatigue. Another great drink option is coconut water, but only when it's pure and unsweetened. Coconut water is rich in potassium and magnesium, minerals that support heart health and prevent muscle cramps. However, it should not replace plain water, but rather complement it occasionally. A good rule of thumb is to avoid any beverage with more than 5 grams of sugar per serving as your first drink of the day. Natural, unsweetened options should always come first. If you enjoy flavored drinks, make them yourself at home where you can control what goes in. Fresh herbs, fruit slices, or a teaspoon of honey for mild sweetness are much better than store-bought alternatives loaded with preservatives. Your morning drink is not just a habit, it's a daily opportunity to protect your brain and heart. By choosing wisely and avoiding harmful options like sweet iced coffee, packaged juice, diet sodas, or energy drinks, you can significantly lower your risk of stroke, improve circulation, and feel more energized naturally. In the next section, we'll wrap everything up by creating a complete set of daily morning rituals that shield your brain. A simple step-by-step routine that any senior can follow to improve cardiovascular health and reduce stroke risk. Your morning routine is more powerful than you think. Every action you take in the first hour after waking up sets the tone for your entire day. How your heart pumps, how your brain functions, and how stable your blood pressure remains. For seniors, creating a healthy morning ritual isn't just about feeling good. It's about preventing life-threatening conditions like strokes and heart attacks. With just a few intentional steps, you can turn your mornings into a shield that protects your brain and strengthens your circulation. The first step is always hydration. Before you reach for coffee, tea, or food, drink a full glass of room temperature water, about 200 to 300 milliliters. This simple action thins your blood, improves circulation, and gently wakes up your body. If you like, add a squeeze of lemon for a mild vitamin C boost and a refreshing flavor. Think of this glass of water as your morning medicine for your brain and heart. It costs nothing, takes less than a minute, but can significantly lower your stroke risk. The second step is gentle movement. After rehydrating, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing light stretching, walking around your home, or practicing slow breathing exercises. These activities improve blood flow to the brain and help your heart adjust gradually to daytime activity. Seniors who add light morning exercise often report feeling more alert and energized throughout the day. Even something as simple as rotating your arms, rolling your shoulders, or taking deep breaths can enhance oxygen delivery to your brain. Next, pay attention to your first drink of the day. Avoid starting with sweet iced coffee, packaged juice, energy drinks, or diet sodas. These beverages, as we've discussed, can spike your blood pressure, raise blood sugar levels, and strain your cardiovascular system. If you enjoy coffee, have it at least 20 to 30 minutes after drinking water and try to minimize sugar and creamers. For tea lovers, stick to unsweetened green tea or herbal teas like chamomile or ginger. If you crave something refreshing, a homemade smoothie with whole fruits and leafy greens is a much healthier alternative than store-bought juices. The fourth step is a balanced, light breakfast. Seniors often make the mistake of skipping breakfast or having something overly sweet, like pastries or sweetened cereal. Instead, focus on foods that stabilize blood sugar and support brain health. A bowl of oatmeal topped with nuts and berries, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, or a boiled egg with a handful of vegetables are all excellent choices. Pairing your morning drink with these foods will slow the absorption of sugar and provide steady energy. Another key element of a brain-protective morning routine is monitoring how you feel. Pay attention to any unusual symptoms, such as dizziness, heavy arms, facial drooping, or slurred speech. These can be early signs of a transient ischemic attack, TIA, or stroke. Teach yourself and your loved ones the FAST method: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, and time to call emergency services. Acting quickly can prevent serious brain damage. I also recommend keeping a hydration habit throughout the day. Many seniors drink very little water because they fear frequent trips to the bathroom, but mild dehydration is far more dangerous. Carry a small bottle of water and sip regularly, especially in the morning. Avoid replacing water with sweetened or artificial drinks. Nothing hydrates your brain and heart better than pure, clean water. Some seniors find it helpful to add a mindful moment to their mornings, just 2 to 3 minutes of quiet breathing, gratitude, or planning the day ahead. Stress is another hidden risk factor for heart disease and stroke, and a calm mindset at the start of the day can have lasting effects on your cardiovascular health. Lastly, make routine checks a habit. After brushing your teeth or washing your face, do a quick check in the mirror. Smile to see if both sides of your face move evenly, raise both arms to ensure they are equally strong, and speak a simple sentence to test your speech clarity. This daily self-check only takes 30 seconds, but can help detect early warning signs that something is wrong. By combining hydration, movement, smart drink choices, and mindful observation, you are building a powerful layer of protection for your brain every morning. These simple habits require no expensive equipment, no complex routines, and no extra time, just awareness and consistency. Think of your morning like a reset button. When you start with the right steps, you give your body a smoother transition from rest to activity, lowering stress on your heart and brain. Over weeks and months, these small actions create a strong foundation for better circulation, sharper memory, and a lower risk of strokes or heart problems. In conclusion, your morning drink and habits matter more than you might think. Water first, harmful drinks last, or better yet, not at all. Choose natural, gentle beverages and pair them with nourishing foods. Listen to your body, recognize the signals, and take action when needed. By doing so, you'll not only protect yourself but also inspire your loved ones to build healthier routines. Every new day is a gift. Start it with the choices that keep your heart beating strong and your mind clear. Each morning is an opportunity to protect or harm your brain and heart. For seniors, the first drink of the day can either stabilize circulation or quietly increase stroke risk. We've explored how sweet iced coffee, packaged juice, energy drinks, and diet sodas can cause spikes in blood pressure, sugar levels, and vessel constriction, especially when consumed on an empty stomach after hours of dehydration. But the solution is simple and within everyone's reach. Start with a glass of pure water. This small habit helps thin the blood, improves oxygen flow to the brain, and sets the stage for a healthier day. Changing habits might feel challenging at first, but remember that every small step matters. Replacing harmful morning drinks with water, herbal tea, or fresh smoothies can significantly reduce your risk of stroke, support better brain function, and keep your energy stable throughout the day. Adding gentle movement and a balanced breakfast will further strengthen your heart and circulation, giving you the vitality to enjoy life with clarity and confidence. Your mornings shape your future health. Don't wait for warning signs like dizziness, numbness, or slurred speech to remind you of the risks. Start now with 1 glass of water, 1 better choice, and 1 mindful action. The difference between waking up strong or waking up in a hospital bed can be as simple as what you drink first thing in the morning. Make every morning a promise to your health, because a small change today can save your life tomorrow.